And for more on Shinzo Abe's big win, joining me now is Mindy Kotler, and she is the founder and director of the Asia Point Policy, a research center right here in Washington, D.C. Mindy, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
So this really seemed to work out well for Prime Minister Abe. This was a landslide for him. Why did he call these the snap elections early?
I would walk back a little bit. Landslide, I'm not so sure. It's the same victory as he had 2 years ago. It's nothing really different than before he went into election. He wanted the election for very personal reasons. It had nothing to do with the state of the political situation in Japan, and didn't even really have anything to do with the economy, because the economy is failing. He wanted the election for a personal affirmation that he appeared to be going in the right direction, and he wanted 2 more years to be in power. With the election, he gets now another 4 years if another election is not carried on. And he feels his greater agenda, which is changing the Constitution, which is remilitarizing Japan, and those kinds of issues are far more important to him than the other domestic politics and the economy.
Right. He's had some problems, several political fallouts, also a difficult economy, as you mentioned. What did he do right this time, and what did he do wrong?
It's not a question of what he did. He has a party that had been in power for 50 years. They knew where the bodies were buried. They knew how the bureaucracy works. They had been comfortable being in power. And so the people really voted for stability. They didn't really vote for him or even his policies. They voted for, I've said stability, but continuity. They voted for no change. They weren't voting really for what he stood for.
This isn't the only recent call for snap elections. We've seen this being done, obviously, in Israel and Greece, 2 countries also facing instability on finances and welfare problems. Is this a trend?
Well, I'm not an expert on Europe or the Middle East. I really can't speak to their elections. But snap elections are affirmation elections, either affirmation of a certain political policies or personal affirmation that the leader himself is going in the right direction.
How would you evaluate Prime Minister Abe's party in the near future? Do you see him being in power for many years to come?
Mr. Abe sees himself being in power for a long time, and many political analysts do also. But if you look at the election results, they're a little less affirming for him than he would have wanted. The Communist Party more than tripled its number of seats. His party went down by a few seats. The parties that would be brakes on his policy actually moved forward a bit. The voter turnout was at a record low. So if it mirrors like last time, essentially 20% of the people only voted for him. So he does not have a mandate per se. It looks like he has a mandate. And this could turn on a dime. And he had the election just as his poll numbers, his cabinet poll numbers were turning downward. So he is trying to manage and keep control of what is his party and his legacy is going forward.
Thank you so much, Mindy Kotler. We appreciate your time.
Okay.